United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Here. Garner.
Here. Hewitt. Wenzel.
Here.
Hoover. Here. Chow.
Here.
Beach. Here. No statement from me. Approval of the agenda. So moved. Motion been made and supported to approve the agenda. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public statement regarding current agenda items only. 3 minutes. Get your name and address.
Meanwhile, 702 South Front Street. I wanted to express something on the agenda tonight, which was the stop sign on Front Street. As you know, it was something I was kind of passionate about when I was on the board, because I live there, and I see traffic, and I see people trying to stop and cross the wet corner. If the infrastructure does come up with any other plans to traffic calming that we went over several times, trying to come up with something different. They have other plans, I'd be really interested to hear that, but if they haven't come up with anything else, I feel it would be real detriment to take that stop sign down to this point in time, especially when that road is about to be refinished and become a speed zone. Like every other road that has when we've done it in town. That's all I wanted to let you know.
Thank you. Anybody else want to make a comment on the stop sign? All right. Consent agenda.
So moved.
Support. Motion been made and supported to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We'll do these accounts payable one by one. 620.23 AP without root note, $257,942.67. Need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Carries.
I'm in a line.
Root note invoice for $10,550.
10,000 of that is from a donation made by Dr. Teal for to re-gravel some of the walkway area. So that's why that's so high. Dr. Teal told me some ideas he had that he wanted to do. I agreed. He donated the 10,000. That's why that's so high. 10,000 of that is from Dr. Teal. Probably 50 is for other things that Renaud has done for us since the last 10 days ago.
Motion to pay root note invoice $10,550.
Support. Motion's been made and supported. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Carried. Next up is the DWAM grant for $54,900.
Real quick on this, we had one last week. It was actually the wrong number that we were sent by OHM by about $500. So this is the actual number, and this is something that we will be reimbursed for as part of the DWAM grant once the financials come out next year. So this is for looking for lead lines.
So same payment, just an adjusted.
We did not pay one last month or last meeting, even though it was supported. This is the correct one we will be paying.
I'll make a motion that we do the DWAM grant payment of $54,900.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. New business, items for action. We'll do each of these appointments on their own. I would like to appoint Brad Cannon to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Need a motion to support, a motion to accept and support.
Make a motion to appoint Brett Janik to the zoning board of appeals.
Support. Motion been made and supported to appoint Janet. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up, we have Chris Mishler. I would like to appoint Chris Mishler to the zoning board of appeals.
I make a motion to appoint Chris Mishler to the zoning board of appeals.
Motion's been made and supported. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up, we have Jeff Montcalm. Not see that right. I'd like to appoint Jeff Montcalm to the zoning board of appeals.
Motion to support Jeff Montcalm for zoning board of appeals.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is Tamara Wenzel. Tamara Wenzel. I'd like to appoint her to the zoning board of appeals.
Make a motion to appoint Tamara Renzel to the zoning board of appeals.
Support. Motion been made and supported. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Next up is Tim Schultz, requesting removing the north and south stop signs on South Front. Tim, you have the floor.
Mr. President, can I take the floor for a couple minutes before you speak?
Please, about this.
Yes. Sure. Mr. Schultz is going to be coming in here tonight, and I feel that he presented what he's going to present tonight to the board in 2021. And I don't know if Mr. Schultz has new facts backing up his, presentation and everything. And that's something that we need to speak after everybody speaking. And I just feel that we're going to sit here tonight and we're going to be debating on who's right on the stop sign, the facts he's going to present, who's wrong, no consideration of the study, who's right, who's wrong on this. And all we're going to do is sit here and debate tonight on what's going to be going on, the non-stop debate, I feel. And nobody here tonight is a traffic expert. I don't see one person here that is a traffic expert, and we're all going to be sitting here talking about opinions on what's going to work and what's not working. And I feel that we should be taking an alternative. Instead of sitting here debating if the stop signs should go, right now I think we should be taking an alternative route on solving this issue. I mean, I don't know if it needs to go back to infrastructure, the committee, but I would like to suggest tonight that we look into a crosswalk. Places on the crosswalk, the electronic crosswalk with a button and maybe a speed control monitor on it, control the speed. But I just don't feel that we're going to get anywhere tonight. There's personal opinions involved here. And like I said, we don't have no traffic indicator here to back up anything. Thank you, Mr. President.
Right, I gave you those pictures.
Yes, sir.
And I completely agree with Rod. I'm not sitting here trying to get an argument with anybody. I, at various council meetings, have presented information on stop signs, studies about them, and how the common theme seems to be, let's put a stop sign up because it's going to control speed. And yes, it may control speed right by where the stop sign is. But studies after studies show that as they get further away, as Scott Lutzy mentioned, or others mentioned, they start to pass. I've done as much research on stop signs as probably anybody. And there are warrants that should be required to put stop signs up. If you look at any information, before stop sign up, you should have an engineering study. This stop sign was put up without an engineering study, with the motion made to control speed. And then as I brought more of it to the attention, it was now we have to worry about pedestrian crossings. And I'm all for the pedestrian crossing issues, but every study that I presented shows that these stop signs are actually detrimental to the area than they are positive for the area. Because of people saying, okay, there's really not a lot of reason to stop here because there's usually nothing to stop for. And if you sit and watch these cars, just like all the studies say, some will stop, some will roll, some will just run it because they don't find a reason for it being warranted. And because of that also, the village council voted or chose to do a study from OHM. And OHM's study came back saying, let's revert back to we stop from intersection with stop sign and Mason Street approaches. And like Rod said, no, there's not an expert in here now, but there was an expert that was paid money to show that these stop signs shouldn't be there. The thing that I do recommend and I suggested the first time in February, let's make those crosswalks. Looking at the wonderful job the construction crew is with the curbs and the gutters and the way they created those sidewalks, it's a perfect reason for a crosswalk. And I guess that's probably all I really have to say unless anybody has any questions for me.
I requested earlier today, or not today, I'm sorry, earlier this week, and I apologize. I want to be clear that I by no means gave Chief enough time to do the research that I asked for. So
I do have numbers.
you do? Oh my God, you're
yeah.
awesome. So I just wanted to go quickly to say, I didn't give her enough time to do this, so kudos to you. What I had asked was a comparison of accident reports and citations, and I certainly don't know her language, before and after the stop sign. But I will say, other than what she's putting in my hand at this moment, this is the first that I've seen that. And given new information, I haven't had what I feel is sufficient time for research to do that, to really make a decision one way or the other.
I did want to explain that.
Yeah, I would love that.
The information earlier. What I've included, I went through and took out any information from the actual traffic stop. So what this will show is I narrowed it down to stop sign violations, speed, took all the other stops for the area out that was not related to the stop sign. The one thing I did want to point out, when we put our data in for our reports, the location will say Front Liberty. That is the location of the traffic stop, not necessarily where the infraction was seen. So I did want everyone to be aware of that. I went all the way back to 21, so this is 21 up until last night. That shows speeding and the disregard of the stop sign.
And just, we did talk about this, that also means that some infractions that happened there were pulled over on the next street or around the corner.
Yeah, so like this is where the traffic stop actually occurred, not necessarily where the infraction was seen at. So that is where the traffic stop location was.
And so in your opinion, in regards to safety, how is that stop sign affecting things pre and post displacement?
I'm not going to give my opinion whether the stop sign should or shouldn't be there at this point. But there's been no accidents before or after to include in the report. That is up to the council just to decide. Our job won't change whether there's a stop sign or no stop sign. All I can do is provide you the information that we are able to gather.
Yeah, as long as you're paying attention to the rest. I'm not saying anything else. I will specifically mention what happened to me on the 31st. I stopped at the stop sign 10. I stopped roll over against. When I started to roll through, trying to find the clip the correct word. The tool that come flying out of Showboat Park. So he ignored the stop sign that had been there for decades. And I locked it up to avoid him coming to my passenger side. So I don't think it makes a difference. I come down that road every day from work, whether I'm stopping or don't stop. The only thing that has bothered me, not the stop sign, that it's been there for 3 years. Went in 2020. The study was done. It was ready in 2021, but there was no action taken on the study at that time. And it should have been. I wasn't here. I was home recovering from my wonderful 2021. But the study showed up. And my only question or concern was, at that time, the village council did nothing and the study showed up. And that's unfortunate. It should never happen. Now we're 2 years later. It should have never happened like that.
I think there was some discussion that said that we would review it when the construction were to happen. And if I remember correctly, the construction was initially supposed to happen last year, but was pushed off to this year. So I think that was the reason that we would address to happen. Because we had kicked the can down to construction.
Yeah.
And expected to review it then.
And the way Jim was talking about getting the tank across crosswalks in the park again.
We say we were gonna widen it out, put in crosswalks, there were some opportunities, and then the funding fell short. So now there's some things that fell short on that project as a whole.
There was a little discussion too about trying to compare winter versus spring, summer because of the amount of traffic in the park, and it was hard to compare. We weren't really able to compare apples to apples. So that was another reason why I asked for these things, so I could use some time to.
Sorry. I will say with the study, with the warnings of the mandates, you know, that the first one is there have been 5 or more accidents in a 12-month period. And I do know there was a small fender bender at the stop sign going up that was doing anything for them. But then the other portions are the volume traffic volume. There's 300 cars per hour using both of them, or 200 cars, pedestrian vehicles on the road that hits the stop sign. We are never going to have, you can go study next time, you're not going to get 200 pedestrian cars per hour there. And then the third issue is a sight distance issue, which OHM said was not there. So, and again, I see OHM trucks everywhere on this road. OHM says to the council, revert back to what was there, but then the council seems to think that let's just not pay attention to that. That's not the answer you want to hear.
We work with another group, and I'm kind of getting frustrated with the fact that they won't do anything, even though it's a problem, until there's a tragedy. So why is it that a tragedy must occur for something to be done or taken into account? It's not a funding issue, it's simply just they kick it down the road because they simply say a tragedy hasn't occurred. Houses have been hit, people's lives have been damaged, but because nobody has died, sorry, we're not going to do anything. So why should we potentially change what safety is or isn't because there hasn't been a tragedy?
Well, because I tell you, I can't, that's a big problem.
And that's the whole thing. I mean,
But I would go back to what data do we have that supports that it's increased safety? I'm not questioning your. I'm just looking for what data do I have? We have the OHM report. We now have chief's numbers.
oh, I fully admit this is just my thought because on the infrastructure committee, I just, like I said, you hear enough from that particular group that tragedies.
Right.
And so for me, you're right. I'm just maybe.
Right. And I had inquired about the traffic study at that time, Tim, and it would seem that that was incredibly expensive. So we went with the OHM report, as I recall.
Yep.
And I'm.
Yeah.
You know, in my world, it's called data-driven decision making, and I'm just trying, what data do we have that says that it has increased safety or that it's decreased tragedy?
Oh, yeah, no, and I'm in full agreement. Like I said, this is strictly a personal.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
devil's advocate,
Yep.
we're gonna have discussion, I'm just trying to look for,
And the basic thing was too, is when we was gonna do the pathways through town, of the schools and everything, that was part of the program that we figured that would be the best part to start,
The walk
coming out of the park.
down Mason.
Down Mason.
That path down Mason.
Yeah. So that was that's why I was gonna put on hold, because we wouldn't see more about the pathway. Well, there's not that, no, it was another program that it was set up to have pathways where guys and girls can ride their bikes down instead of in the middle of the road.
Right.
Take a sidewalk, you don't need two sidewalks on both sides, a sidewalk on each side. Take and widen one sidewalk, 6 to 8 feet, all the way down, like down to Brady, you cut across, and then you got connections to the schools, to the parks, and everything else. And that's
a crossing lots, we're also allowed to do that.
correct. And that's one thing that OHM was supposed to come back with us, and I don't think we ever got that. Sean, did we ever get that back from OHM on the crosswalk at the park?
Yeah, money.
It was the money part, wasn't it?
It's money. Without, because we were talking about widening it right there at the park, and we were gonna put in a flashing signal. I mean, there was, and somewhere they just said engineering decision.
It's like a caution signal.
But they said engineering decision, so it got cut. Because I think a couple of years ago, when Keith researched the solar powered speed signs, I think I remember it was like $7,500 a sign. And Michigan doesn't write tickets based on the speed wagons, so, I mean, our speed trailer's nice, and it's a warning, but I'm not entirely sure those signals really, I'm not sure flashing my speed at it really changes much.
Well, no, it's not the money to be done.
That's,
What?
yeah.
Neither does the stop sign control the speed. Every study that you look at says after the stop sign, the speed increases as they get further home. And so that's a lot of the data. And the other thing was brought up, I don't want anybody to get injured at that stop sign. But it's told by this council that the stop signs do not meet any of the mandates for a stop sign there. And if there is an accident, this council would be liable for it. If the stop signs are not there, you are going by the guidelines of what uniform traffic control devices say, and you're not liable for it.
I wasn't on council when it was them. What is the biggest concern with the stop? Is it safety or is it speed?
Safety.
It's safety, not speed.
But the motion was made,
Based on the speed that I was watching people go through there and not pay attention to people trying to cross the traffic.
if you look back at the minutes, the motion was made to, you see people speeding on front streets, let's put up a stop sign. It wasn't, I'm worried about people crossing the road. It was, the motion was made to control speed, and the first sentence in the uniform traffic control devices say stop signs shall not be used to control speeds. And all of those reports have been sent to the previous council. I didn't send them to this council.
Yes.
Okay.
What was the cost of this? They didn't have a cost on the cost.
Off the top of my head, no, I never heard of that.
Do we need another study if we're thinking about?
No, we just need the,
We-
the money for the type of.
Realistically,
signage.
we could take your suggestion, we have another infrastructure meeting in 2 weeks. We could take your suggestion, go to the infrastructure meeting, and ask OHM about the cost of what the crosswalks were, and then, and then use that meeting to investigate traffic calming techniques. I mean, we could essentially take your suggestion and just in 2 weeks run it by OHM while they're here.
So we don't have to look at another study and all.
No.
Oh, no, traffic counts are traffic counts. When we took it, I think it was late spring.
It was freezing.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
I don't want to see another, I don't want to spend another, we're not gonna get 200 cars per hour.
That's right.
We know that, but
but I keep hearing, let's do another study.
No, I said we're not doing
I
another
don't
study.
want, I don't want to spend the money for
I
another
said-
study.
I said in 2 weeks, we can come up with different calming strategies to
No, and that's perfect, but Nelson, it's a freezing day that day. And the day they did it was not the day that gave the results you wanted, so let's try to do it again.
I don't want another study, Tim. I think it was pointless to have one the first time.
Does anybody have any questions for Tim before we move on to the council debate on this? So we're not just going back. Okay, Tina, I think you had something.
I just wanted to reiterate some things that Oshon and Bill touched on, that I did sit on the infrastructure committee with them while this was taking place. And although this is the report that OHM gave us, they did also sit in on our infrastructure committee meeting and discuss traffic calming matters with us. And they also did not have a better idea. We went over costs of things and they said, you're right, none of these things really seem to fit that area. So as I had said before, if somebody has come up with a better idea, I'm all
It
for
talked
it.
about,
There was a
another
few
lane.
different things.
There were some other things.
Well,
that they-
the
There were
crosswalk
some
would
things we
work.
talked about, and we went over in detail all of those things, didn't we?
Yeah.
And didn't come up with a better solution.
Did you talk about crosswalks?
Yes, we
Oh,
did.
yeah.
And there
It
was
was
no,
agreed that it was quite expensive to put in the crosswalks, and that if they're not gonna pay attention to the stop
It was
sign,
going to
they're
be an
probably not
enhanced
gonna pay attention
crosswalk.
to their crosswalk.
What's an
So why is
enhanced
the stop
crosswalk?
sign?
Blinking lights,
Well, that's the whole
buttons.
point.
the
Something
raised-
needs to
Is
be
it the
done.
raised one where if you hit it?
They have a
To be
lift.
I don't know if it was.
I saw one in North Carolina.
I don't remember if it was raised, but I remember lights and actually like, here we are, pay attention.
Right.
I think it's just the administrator today, I don't know, I mean, I don't know if it was there, what you were looking for or not.
I started looking, I just don't know costs, and I looked at different options.
Yeah, the gentleman I was looking at him.
I mean, I think this is even considered enhanced in the pictures we
Because
got.
it's got the thing in the middle.
Because it's colored and there's signage. So I think even this is considered enhanced. But yeah, it wasn't going to be putting down just a pair of lines and calling it a crosswalk. There was actually going to be some effort, some color, some things to draw attention to that spot.
And maybe OHM had some initial suggestions, but if it could go back to infrastructure for discussion and say, what else you got?
Well,
Bring us more options.
and
That would
that's-
be kind of what they do, right?
and that's why I agreed with Rob. It's easy. We could do that in a couple, like I said, we're gonna have a meeting in a couple weeks anyway. So we can at least get pricing on the crosswalks and just circle back on crossings to see where the costs are and what our options are.
I guess I would just push that, if their response is, well, we give you options, I would want more. What else you got?
Well, those
No,
options
no,
were
no.
pre-pandemic, so now everything costs twice as much.
Yeah.
No, they're better.
But I mean, if it's about safety, then how do you put a number on that? So if it's safety or is it speed? And that's the circle that we keep going around. The stop signs seem to be the quick fix, but they're not supposed to be used for speed. I'm curious what Mr. Wade would say about liability. And that would be some more information. Yeah.
Mr. Babe.
Yeah, sorry. Wade's the
Wade
guy at
Babe.
school, and Wade's the guy at, well, Wade is the district guy. Anyhow, but I would be curious, his take on liability. There's just more information we need before we can.
Yeah, truthfully, the level of stoop at the stop signs in the village of Chesaning, it's unmatched. Last week, someone raised Tremere House from Lion Street, heard him coming,
Oh.
down Pine, never stopped
Well,
at Chapman and Pine,
So if we're gonna use a stop sign for speed control, there should be one at the corner where I live at Pine and Lime.
and they locked them up at Saginaw because someone waiting to turned in front of the vehicle that wasn't planning on stopping.
Right, and,
So they're,
right, so that only supports that the stop sign was misplaced then. If it is supposed to control the dragging that goes up and down in front of the house.
You can't fix stupid. Somebody's gonna run a stop sign, they're gonna run a stop.
Yeah.
No, but if it's there to slow people down, then there should be a stop sign at my corner where I live. But
There's
there's,
stop signs there, but it's an entrance to a major park where we have hundreds of people visit all the time. And that was what made it more.
but we can't say hundreds of people versus one person.
okay, then the short solution is, 2 weeks they talk and find out options for crosswalk.
With pricing.
Right.
And just an FYI, Tom, the picture of the one I gave was Covenant put that up.
Okay.
So if you want me to contact who they got it from or who came from, let me know.
Otherwise, we're gonna sit here and talk about speed versus safety.
I feel like there's probably cheaper options than the crosswalk. I mean, the option that I saw while on vacation last year was simply just a small ramp and a flat top and then a ramp back down. And if you hit it at a certain speed, it's gonna throw you up in the air. So you have no choice but to pause, slow down, and then drive over it.
That
And it was strictly just cement.
Oh, it was cement.
Yeah.
I've seen them where they're like hard rubber that rolls out on the road. I don't know if they're
This was just
permanent or not.
Which would cost effectively, I wouldn't think that something like that would cost a ton of money. And it would force people to slow down and pay attention more.
As long as we can plow over it.
So they probably don't plow in their thing.
No. If they can smell it.
They consider that.
Not very often.
One flake of
Although it
smoke,
wasn't the
it shuts
mountains.
down. Yeah, the mountains.
I would make a motion in regards to Tim Schultz's request to table that decision until infrastructure meets and can provide us with additional information.
Motion's been made and supported to table this until we hear back from infrastructure meeting. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, everybody. Amanda Danik. Thanks, Tim. Amanda Danik is requesting to close Brady Street from Vine Street to Front Street and Pine Street from Chapman Street to Front Street on November 24th and 25th for the canal. Amanda, you have the floor.
Denied. And shorten this up. Harsh.
Okay, that's all I need to say. Did you need me to say anything else about it?
This is the same as the one last.
No, this is new. We are not crossing 57 anymore, so we're trying to eliminate Outcrest Street, which is the request initially from council. What we will do, since we did face, this was, yes, you're right, original plan was closed and we get started, this is what we wanted to do. But we got backlash about the access to the public parking lot by in-town, Marlin, that area, you know, where
Yeah.
we got backlash from that, so we're kind of, this was the solution then, but then we just got to it into the COVID, and we didn't want to fight it. So on Saginaw, from Pine Street going south, that will be open, so you can access that parking lot. On Chapman, going south, from Pine to 57, that will be open as well, so that their parking lot will be accessible. The goal, based on safety concerns that we've had on Brady, is that we close down Brady at Vine Street because we had so many people that were moving barricades, and we ended up with 2 cars actually in the Candle Walk Thunder area last year, just hanging out. So that was not very safe either.
Need a closer part.
That's what she said. So, we're hoping to close down that Vine Street, that will give us more of a buffer. The reason being for this is that we're hoping to add North Front Street and Eastkins to Chapman to then Brady back to North Front Street at Eastkins. That's where we will do the care drives, as opposed to on the main street where it's dark, we don't have anything that access. Safety is our number one. We would like to close Front Street at the light all the way to Brady. Again, it's fluid, especially on Pine. I know that in town we've got parking for their employees. I know Matt wants people to be able to get parking to his place. The big stop is like the line at Brady. Keep that in the time that close down. I know we can't close streets down to 100%. That's not what I'm asking. We're just trying to make it as safe as possible. So that's our message.
Obviously, also emergencies get through. If somebody needs to leave their house, they can let
Yes,
that we
and
let out.
we met with, this group of people as well before, in 2019. So whatever it was, we did go around and let every house know that was in that vicinity. If you're interested in that, you can do that again, but hopefully publishing that would be enough information in
I'm not saying all that.
Motion has all made and supported. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Appreciate the support, guys.
See you in November.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we have creative policy to grant a canine officer exclusive use of the canine vehicle, including take-home privileges. This is a policy adjustment because as of right now, they're not allowed to take vehicles home. In this particular instance, the canine vehicle and canine, canine is with an officer who is locking down. Yeah.
So this would allow them to be able to just keep the canine in the canine unit, taking them to his house where the dog does live. If there's an emergency, they can leave right from there. Currently, like you said, our policy is that officers cannot take vehicles home. This would be the only exception. The only time the vehicle can be used, according to this, is on official police business, protecting village testing, day-to-day policing, on-call emergencies, training. Dog needs to go to, healthcare, like the vet, I guess is what they call it, healthcare for dogs, and other group village activities.
Essentially, this is transportation for the dog.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it should be at the house.
So,
It
yes,
should be at the house.
yes,
So otherwise, he would have to drive it to his house, drop the dog off, drive the truck home, back to the shop. Take your normal vehicle, drive back home.
I'll make a motion to allow the canine vehicle to take the dog home.
Support. Motion's been made and supported. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, moving on to the infrastructure. Let's see if they told me infrastructure.
Front Street's on track, Bill didn't show up, I heard he's up north, but Front Street's still moving really well, actually everyone's still on task and a little bit ahead of schedule. They are going to start milling and filling by the end of the week. They're potentially looking at rain early next week, so there's,
What's that?
well, here's the problem. We have fireworks next week.
We need the rain.
You might have
I was
fireworks.
just saying,
Correct.
we don't get the rain.
But if we don't have the if we don't get the rain for the fireworks, then we get it done rough. There's so anyway, the trade-off
Well,
becomes.
it'll take another week.
Oh, don't get me wrong. We're all in agreement. Providing that if the rain comes, we could be looking at tidying up that first week of July. But if the rain doesn't come, we're getting pretty close to being just about done. They're going to pull 3 inches of mill from roughly Peak to Liberty. And then they're going to bring it from Liberty to Maine, but they're only going to take 1.5 inches off. Right up here at 57.
Broad Street.
Broad Street.
Or Broad. The Main Street. The Main Street.
Yep. Anyway, so that'll all be reshaped and done, but everything's on schedule. They're itching to get going. Some of the restoration as far as sod and all of that's been done. Concrete's done, so they're just getting ready to rip the roads. And here shortly they'll have the light booth down in the amphitheater. It's fully disconnected, and now they can move on it. They can actually move on it. Mark got everything disconnected, so it's safe.
Let me know when that's down. I want to come and see it.
Well, that we asked them to do the best they could to make it salvageable. But yeah, we'll have another construction or progress meeting in 2 weeks, barring, or it might even be a wrap-up meeting. Oh, is it?
It'll be moved to like the 5th of July.
Yeah. Anyway, at that next meeting, it'll either be another progress or could be a wrap-up meeting, but we should know more about it. If you hear a date on that, I would like to know.
You know what their hydro seeding for the.
Yes, that's the plan is to use. When they're talking as early as, again, late next week, depending if, because I cracked a joke about how that fireworks was going to be nothing but asphalt smell. There's a 50-50 asphalt to done project.
Yeah.
And then I talked with Chief Short, Sergeant Hunter, and they both have a good traffic plan in place that they're going to implement, take care of. So everything seems to be good to go for fireworks and Front Street. Pretty close to being done.
Maybe we can convince the fire department to bring a pumper truck down and
Go get, throw in the river and spray the entire park down.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, Scott already talked about the old thing, did he?
That's just funny. I wasn't willing to say that out loud, but I was thinking fire department too.
That's a lot.
You might have, well, like Scott said, those go up in the air and the wind will blow those ashes.
Oh, yeah.
It could be 2 miles out,
Right.
so.
It'll rain, we contracted with painters.
Maybe I should have garage sale or something. Let's install something outside.
I'll watch it.
I'll power wash my house.
There you go. Is that it?
It's inside and out, right?
Yeah, sometimes it's so dirty.
We did
Oh,
have,
we did, I'm sorry. I forgot.
Kim was there,
I was
and
there.
Bobby.
In my mind.
We met with our interim village administrator. It's been 3 months, like we said. We evaluate him. He says this is the greatest job he's ever had in his life. He didn't really say that.
He did, he thinks it's not the hiring.
But we went over, he's taking classes, progressing very well. And past that, I didn't write any other notes. So I'm hoping one of the other two that were there with me did. Yeah, I'm looking.
I didn't take any notes either.
You're the one that right, but we had agreed to some, graduated salary adjustments as we talked about initially. I think we'll be presenting those.
Discussing that later.
Alright, is that all? Okay, public safety, the meeting, DDA.
DDA met, the brickwork was done, bike racks have been ordered, they'll be going in on each side of the boulevard soon. They're still looking for a few more sponsors for the, hospital flowers, so if anyone's interested, reach out to them. Their biggest news though is they did change their meeting schedules to now meet bi-monthly, so there will be no July meeting, and they meet again August 9th. Sure.
Alright, chamber meeting should be coming up. I'll reach out to you for that meeting.
Okay.
Planning commission?
I believe next week, Tom, we have scheduled a meeting,
It would just be going over master plan stuff.
so nothing on the agenda.
Yeah, that's the master plan. That's,
Well, the master plan,
That will take us several months.
not making any approvals.
I think the first time.
It's an ongoing, yeah, it's ongoing.
Airport?
Yeah. They're almost have everything ready for the dump patrol. The only concerns at the airport, Mr. Interim Village Administrator, is, it needs to be mowed.
It's all scheduled to mow before their, breakfast was
See if they can find a couple, see if they can find a couple days. It's really tough, amazingly tough.
It is skin.
Yes, so, yes, they're concerned right before the big weekend. And the only other thing out there, and I think Christine's talked to you about a couple lights that are out. So, that was it.
Airport?
7 runs since last meeting, bringing 83 to date. Training next month is gonna be the 9th and 10th because, usually the first weekend, but because of the holidays, they moved it. It's gonna be, vehicle extrication. Scott wanted me to bring this up, that fire ban is still on till we get rain. And fire pits are usually a black one or a metal ring with no building materials, leaves, or garbage to be burned in it, only firewood.
Are we allowed to still have fire, like,
In the fire pits.
campfires? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think we were.
Yeah.
I know, I
Yep.
was like, oh boy.
But if you burn down the town.
If you're-
Don't tell them that it was at your house.
If you guys haven't heard about the railing fire,
Yeah,
the guy was home for 2 weeks.
Sorry, what was that?
The guy was home for 2 days for the railing fire up there.
Big fire.
His campfire is one that caused he thought it was out and it wasn't. So if you guys do campfires, make sure you spray it with water.
Yeah.
Monday night we had one up there and we sprayed it down good. I stayed up an hour later and sprayed it again. So yeah, it's dry up north too, but it's dry around here. The next regular board meeting is, the 12th of July at 6 o'clock.
Task force, no meeting. Parks committee?
No meeting, but I would like to say, that Jeff is doing a wonderful job down there. They, I believe, got him a chainsaw, he's been cutting and doing firewood for the campers.
I do not know the brand.
Last Monday, I was getting ready to water and was filling up the cart in the park, and a gentleman came in looking for a lost disc, from the disc golf course, and shared with me that there was 14 people that came from an hour away. They stayed down there for the weekend. They had mad props to the campground. They think it's wonderful. They love the park. It was beautiful. Not a lot of places like this. Said that they will probably be back this year and plan on making an annual trip. So I love 14 people is a pretty good group. I love that positive feedback for down there.
Alright, moving on to the public statement, any topic limited to 3 minutes. We've got Mike Navarre. Terry and Frank Cooper. Ken Schultz already did it, Tina? Alright. That was quick. Council member statements. Any council member wishing to make a statement?
We did a walkthrough on the safety of school. Part of the infrastructure that was on the road projects, we had said we would maintain the sewer system, the outlets for the sewers and that. They have been packed in quite a few places. I asked Tommy to check with the village guys to clean them out, so I don't know if they have done that yet or not.
I told them to go clean them out, yes.
So,
It's on the schedule.
you look at some of them, they're pretty bad. And there is some residents in town that keeps them clean for us. So, more power to them and thank them. But, yeah, there's, especially on North Main, there's a lot of them that was plugged right up. And we're trying to keep the water off the road to maintain the roads, so. The infrastructure, that's why I'm pushing for it, is to keep those drains open.
Storm sewers, you said?
Yeah, the storm sewers, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Anybody else?
Michael's asked to just remind everyone, tickets for Handmade, open today, I believe, online, and that's October, I believe, down in the park.
Anybody else? Go once. Twice. Alright. Police report, Chief Short. Alright, well, we'll go with, interim admin.
Not much. Sean went over the South Park Street stuff. Big thanks to Dr. Teal for that donation, $10,000 to the park.
Did we ever send him a thank you note for all that?
I called him and said thank you, but I will send him a note, yes. We'll get him something. We were able to spread new limestone on the walking path, along with a few other touch-ups down there with that money. And I went down there and walked it, and it's a lot better. So, shout out to Dr. Teal, $10,000.
Amazing what that kind of money, the difference it makes.
Right. He's we're blessed to have him in this town, for sure. I don't know if I should read the stuff she's gonna read, maybe?
He's coming.
There she is.
You're out.
Sorry. Back just in time.
Alright, I'll just go over some of the highlights of the stats for the month of May. We had 66 traffic stops, 16 traffic citations, 5 alarms, 2 misdemeanor arrests, 3 warrant arrests, 2 assaults, 8 assists to medical, 2 assists to MSP. We assisted the sheriff's permit 21 times. We had 1 child neglect call, 6 disorderly, 6 family troubles, 1 overdose, 7 suspicious situations, 7 suspicious vehicles, 2 UDAAs, and 5 other warrant arrests.
What the UDAA?
A stolen vehicle. Somebody drove somebody else's vehicle. I want to congratulate Sergeant Connor and K9 Leo. They officially got certified today, so they are both officially certified in the state of Michigan. Leo's ready to hit the road.
For Leo!
He's used to it. Everything's for Leo now. It's like having another child. We take cute pictures of him.
And it's amazing how the adult looks like the child.
I know, right? You're getting the look.
You live right over here, right?
Sergeant Connor wanted me to also say that if any council members wanted to get a tour of the K9 unit, he is willing to do that after the meeting. So, any questions?
Okay, Chief. All right, moving on into the work session. I sent all of you some ordinances that came back from the attorney. I'm still waiting on a couple from him, but I think we should just move along with these that we got. We'll those in later when they come in. My thought is we send it over to finance and admin, have them review it, make sure they're not going to negatively impact our finances in any way. Which they shouldn't.
I didn't get that, so.
You didn't get them? All right, I'll send you another copy.
When did you
Tom,
send
send him a copy? I sent them today, this morning.
I've been on the road all day, so.
You're in there.
It's the,
I have.
it's the, one is for the fines, making it 500 a day, not per incident, and the other one was the in good standing clause.
I mean, we're not gonna take no action on this tonight, are we?
No, well, I'd like to send it to finance and admin, have them look at it.
Look at it and
And
go
then
over it.
take their, if they say, yeah, we should do this, it'll come back for us to vote to make a.
Can we make, still, if we feel that big changes?
We're gonna say yes.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, if you send it to them and we find something.
Yeah, we can change
Right,
it,
okay,
absolutely, yeah.
all right.
It's 100% draft form right now, but everybody
But,
needs to put their hands
so
on it.
you know, the in good standing, we're adding that to our ordinance. And I don't know if you've read it. The state as a whole is making that change as well. They're not, if we were to say, if we didn't put that in our ordinance, and people were applying for the licenses when they got to the state level, they were gonna be denied. So that's becoming a state law as well in the marijuana.
Cannabis
Yes.
industry.
So the changes we're already trying to make, the state is in the process of making as well. So we beat them a punch on that. But yes, it'll be already in our ordinance by the time they pass it and it gets through. So on the plus side for that one.
Yeah, double back up.
So, next, finance and admin meeting, you guys are up.
Will we-
And if I get the
I was
other
gonna say, will
ones,
we do the
I
other
will
ones
send
too?
those along.
Perfect.
I'm just-
We're allowed to add them to these, right?
Oh, yeah, once we set the public hearing date, though, that's
Sure.
when we'll have to have a call.
Well, hopefully he gets interested.
But
Then
we
can
have to
do
do
them all.
two, we have to do two.
Sure.
That's why we get paid the big bucks.
It just might give us a result.
How many did we send in to?
I've sent them, so
There's
these two, I
six.
think
I
there's,
believe.
yeah, I don't remember what they all are.
Well, there's
Six.
the
What did you say,
odors,
six?
there's fencing.
Yeah, fencing, odor, there's.
I can find it.
Devices, yeah.
I have the original start point.
There's 4, because we've got the good standing, we've got the, compliance, and then there's the odor, the fencing, open grill.
Yeah.
Is it the light industrial?
Right.
Yeah.
A couple
We're
things,
waiting on that
and
one.
a couple things we actually discussed were nothing but administrative things we could put in place, so. The gotta pay your bill by January
yeah.
15th, that's, you know,
We
you
don't
don't have to write anything for that. And there was, I think there was another 1 or 2 that were just flat out administrative.
Yeah.
Change, we're good.
I mean, if you look at it, they are almost identical. There's 4 ordinances I sent, but one is for recreational and one is for.
Well, I clicked over, I clicked the
Yeah.
same thing out.
Yeah.
Oh,
It doesn't.
no, yeah,
They have to be.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that,
vote right.
it has to be written separately. That's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
No, it's funny, I get,
Is this typical that it takes, I mean, I remember last time you said we shouldn't take nothing but a month to get back and.
And it took me forever to review too, there was also that, probably took me a month to get through. So if he gets them back quicker, I'll turn it around. Just got a little.
So we need a motion to send this to.
No, we don't. I mean, unless, only if you wanted to do a set of public hearing right now.
In the hopes that we
You'll need some time to read it. Super interesting stuff. No problem. Does anybody else have anything under the marijuana work session?
Just a quick note, the next meeting is July 18th. We're not having a meeting July 4th, so don't show up. We won't go.
Or do? With that said, we'll need a motion to exit regular session and enter into executive session.
so moved.
Support. Motion has been made and supported to exit regular session and enter into executive session. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are now back at regular session.
Really quick, I don't know what the rule is, but I had mentioned it. Highlight the sliding gate where they receive their deliveries. That's supposed to be closed.
I talked to him.
Okay, it's still,
It's been open a lot, and I've been sitting
All
on
the
the side
time.
side of it watching it.
right, because I almost lost 2 students. So I'm helping with the special ed job thing up at the high school right now, and I'm walking the kids to and from. They see the pallets, they're like, oh, we can build with that, and they don't know any better, and my daughter included, and they start wandering, and I'm trying to grab, back in here. It's always open.
I told them the next time I see it open, I have to call the state.
Well, I called just to try to be nice, going, hey, I'm just a mom here, didn't really tell him who I was, just said, he's like, yeah, and hung up on me.
We know
what you
I was like,
I called the COO,
No.
and he didn't say yeah, but
okay.
said he would figure out why it's open.
And by the way, if you want those pallets, they will get them out.
I don't want the kids meandering in there, was
Right.
the thing, and especially that particular group of kids don't have a processing capability to know that they shouldn't be strolling. Nobody should be strolling in there.
No.
And that's the whole point, it should be closed. I get when they give delivery, obviously, it's be open, but it's open all the time.
That's why I got the security guards and cameras there, they're supposed to.
Otherwise we're in a violation, right?
Yep.
Start getting nasty.
We gotta get the $500 quick. Keith?
I got
Motion adjourned. Wait.
Raj, he's trying to say something.
tournament this weekend, no tournament.
No tournament.
Is it officially canceled?
Is that why St. Charles got it in their paper?
They canceled it, not us, so.
They wanted it for free.
Is that why St. Charles gets it?
They're cheaper than we are.
They can have it.
Yep.
Is he still, then Tom goes with that over there?
No, Tom's not really involved in it.
I'm confused about the tournament. He wasn't involved in this tournament this weekend?
He was.
Well,
He's kind of a pawn.
Yeah.
He's not really
So
gonna-
you know, we're back in session, we're on minutes, just before we're talking about.
Sure.
He helped put it on, he wanted to keep it in Chesaning. Mike Inawaso is the one making the decision. He
I got
mentioned it.
So he aided in trying to get it here.
sure.
I got
And
you.
was the contact to Chester.
Tom liked the idea of it going from Chesaning, staying here, and also St. Charles,
I got you.
area,
Okay.
but wanted it in Chesaning.
I got you.
Tom himself still has tournaments here within the village this year though.
But this was the hidden pitch.
This,
tournament.
yeah,
Right.
still Wasso and pitch.
I got you.
As well
But-
as July. Was gone.
I don't think so. So, but Tom, his that he's doing himself without Owasso hitting pitch, I believe the adult leagues, is that what it
August or
is?
September?
Some kids that step in August.
Okay.
adult league,
He's
like,
still-
I know, well, I know he gave because we were supposed to do a catering truck, and he gave us like 10 dates, so that's why, I mean, not 10 dates, like 6 dates. That's why I got confused if he was in charge of it, or who was in charge, who was in charge.
It was a little tough. I had the same problem.
So any
Trying to navigate who was actually
Yeah.
running and
Yeah.
who was signing contracts and who was doing what when we were having our park meetings, because I thought Tom was involved in it and handling it, and then come to find out he was not. He was just kind of the face, and that it was still going through Mike from Hit and Pitch.
any future tournaments in town with Tom and Dave Sanders at Garber, all the proceeds of that is going back to the parks. They will be testing tournaments. I think we can do something different than what we did for Hit and Pitch.
Oh, yeah, well, they're not keeping the money, and it's for our local
Sure,
kids.
it's
There's
much
no
different in
reason
that
to-
aspect. It's
Right.
not, they're not
We're
profiting
gonna
at that
invite
point.
teams from outside, but it'll be mainly a testing. It'll all be testing based.
That's cool. That's fine, because I can't say what I'm thinking, but Hit and Pitch guy.
I told him if he needs anything from us to call us, and we'll let him know.
Did we get any calls today on the cancellations of?
We did not cancel park reservations for, we kept our policy of no refunds a week out. And people aren't thrilled, but they're welcome to come
We can
cancel.
take it up with them.
I mean, I feel
said
like it's
that.
still right, if they're going to Nalothrop and to St. Charles, like, this is the
Yeah,
hub,
right.
it's kind of a perfect area
I think what happened
to
though,
still have somewhere to stay.
is they outright canceled the softball.
Oh,
And then the boys' games will still be in St. Charles and maybe New Lothrop. So some people aren't playing at all.
wow.
So I do understand why they're upset, but it wasn't us that canceled. It
Right.
was Owasso that know that money.
Okay.
Well, you've already scheduled your camping, blah, blah, blah. Or if you have kids in both,
Yeah.
you still gotta come. You just had girls softball, you're still camping this weekend. But yes, you canceled less than a week before the tournament.
It's rain this week.
It is.
Please rain this week.
It's got, I'm telling you, we finally contracted with something that raining and it'll rain.
I mean, I feel bad for you, but at the
He
same
called
time, we
today, he's like,
really
can I
need
come
that
earlier?
rain.
He's trying to rearrange his jobs because he's trying to get ours in earlier. It'll melt. And we're trying to get it done before we leave.
Alright, we're good, motion to adjourn.
Alright, motion's been made, supported to adjourn, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Not off the record, that dude's just an ass.
I can't believe that. Terrible. Oh, thanks, I love you.
You.
Oh, it's not for me.